A father's disturbing discovery leads to the arrest of a Brooklyn man who police say preyed on children.
Police say the teenager engaged in that Skype chat on her tablet, and that's when the 23-year-old man coerced her into performing acts of a sexual nature. The two had met earlier, playing the popular game Minecraft online.
If someone asks for photos of you, whether or not they do it repeatedly, and they get upset or try to make you feel bad because you said no, or that it makes you uncomfortable showing people your face, then they definitely want something from you.
The suspect had given his victim a name. Police had no way of knowing if it was the right one.
Milky is a 27-year-old trans female predator who is in the Minecraft and Minecraft SMP community. Keep in mind, a 27-year-old should not be talking to children in general, especially if they're a pet. This is a red flag.
Investigators traced the teen's phone records and obtained a court order to find the owner on the other end of the line.
There was a time when Minecraft felt untouchable. The game was on every screen. The YouTube algorithm was flooded with SMPs, mods, and pixelated adventure maps narrated by creators who sounded like your best friend, or a big sibling, or someone safe. But that was just surface level. Behind the scenes, Minecraft had quietly become one of the most dangerous spaces for kids online. Between 2013 and 2016, Minecraft was a cultural reset. Creators like Dan TDM and Stampy Cat built empires off pastel thumbnails and squeaky clean commentary. But just beneath that layer of safety were names like Lionmaker, Bashir, and others I won't say here, because I'm not trying to take my monetization today. But you get it. There was a pattern. These creators weren't just playing Minecraft. They were using it as a pipeline to kids. See, Minecraft wasn't just a game. It was a social space. It gave predators everything they needed: private servers, public discords, and child-dominated fan bases, and an infinite supply of avatars to hide behind. According to Search Logistics, over 50% of Minecraft players are under 24 years old, with a large portion being teens, especially those between 13 and 17, and that tracks considering how many younger players grew up with the game. That's not just a red flag, that's a whole entire traffic light. The skins were pixelated, the characters were cartoons, but the predators behind them were very, very real. And one of those predators wasn't just a Minecraft player. She was a VTuber. We don't know much about Imilki's earliest content because, like most roaches, it's been scrubbed. But in 2015, a new Minecraft account showed up online. The name it was tied to had since been lost, but it belonged to someone who moved quickly through servers, chats, and communities. Friendly, flirty, often too personal, too fast. She was active in Discord groups, mostly ones with younger creators and fans. She made SMP applications. She talked to kids. A lot. And over time, more and more of those conversations raised eyebrows. Except no one knew who was really behind the screen. Yet. In 2016, just 1 year later, we found out through a news headlines following a shocking arrest. The Minecraft player behind the name was exposed as Josel Rodriguez, a 23-year-old Brooklyn man who had used his Minecraft presence to groom a 13-year-old girl online.
In that Skype chat on her tablet, and that's when the 23-year-old man coerced her into performing acts of a nature. The two had met earlier, playing the popular game Minecraft.
They met in-game. He moved the conversation to Skype. From there, it escalated. Fast. He solicited nudes, he asked for explicit video calls, he manipulated her trust and violated it completely. And he was doing it all under a fake name, behind his Minecraft avatar. The abuse only came to light when the girl's father found out as he was going through her tablet and found images on there that any father would never want to see. And with that, went straight to the NYPD. Authorities traced Josel back to his home via the team's phone records. They got a search warrant and they raided it. And what they found wasn't just disturbing, it was harrowing. Over 100 videos and images of suspected child material were collected, multiple Skype logs, and his entire hard drive was seized. Josel was arrested and held at Rikers Island. which is one of the biggest jail complex in New York City. His bail was set to $30,000. He didn't deny what he did and got charged with a Class C felony, use of a child in sex performance. And yet, he received no prison time. He basically got out with a slap on the wrist, just a probation until 2026. The sheriff, Thomas Dougherty, in charge of the case, had this to add. A great father and good teamwork among law enforcement resulted in this bad guy being held at Rikers. Parents, please monitor your children's electronics and know that there are several predators trolling the net to find vulnerable children. If you ever find anything inappropriate, please call us and make a report. We need your partnership to keep our children safe and put these monsters where they belong. Scary stuff. Now you're probably telling yourself, most people would vanish after being outed like that. Start a new life, touch grass, travel, find God, join a sect. Heck, why not? Maybe go to therapy. I know, crazy idea, right? But nah, Hosel didn't lay low. Just 1 year later, they were back, returning online and using anonymity and VTubing as a shield, hiding his past and fooling people into thinking he was just another harmless creator. For the next 2 years, he blended in, but it was only a matter of time before his past would catch up to him. The first known account from this era was called Pumpkin Night, which later rebranded to Vidal Rose. Although later evidence also suggests Imilki ran with a handful of other names such as Purite, Broken Andy, and Evisilia, among others we'll discuss in this video. But here's where the story shifts. Somewhere in this return, Hosel had also transitioned, now presenting as a woman online. She announced this in a short channel intro where she clarified she'd be using a feminine voice and identity going forward.
But just to clarify a couple things, yes, and when in my application video, I did sound like a female. Basically, my channel is based off me being who I truly am, and mentally, I feel feminine. Thanks for watching. Just wanted to let you guys know that I'm mentally a female, though I'm physically a male. It's kind of confusing and complicated.
And sure, transitioning isn't inherently noteworthy, but in this case it marked a complete rebranding of her online persona. New identity, new name, new channels, but the same person. And some wonders if that transition was legit or just a convenient way for Imilki to hide behind her new identity. Only 3 videos were ever posted to the Pumpkinite channel, and if you're lucky, you can still find them. The tone was typical for 2017 Minecraft YouTube. Casual intros, modded gameplay, and a soft push towards joining collaborative servers. The most interesting one? An application video for something called the Ethereal SMP. Now, for context, SMP stands for Survival Multiplayer. These were private, invite-only Minecraft servers where YouTubers recorded together, did collaborative builds, and usually injected some kind of team or light roleplay. Think of it as a content creator friend group where you could gain subscribers just by association. But in all seriousness, for many smaller creators, getting into an SMP was a golden ticket for growth. And for someone like Imilki, it was a perfect cover. And because Minecraft SMPs often had minors with the average age of 10 to 15 years old, this was also the perfect hunting ground for her. Back on Twitter though, the Rose Vidal account didn't last long, only about 3 months. But during that time, it was active. Really active. There were tweets, threads about loneliness, online fights with people named Kat and Wolfia, and a strange emotional tone that suggested things weren't going so smoothly. Like, they were going back and forth, arguing with someone. Obviously, since this happened so long ago, the replies are now all gone, so all we've got are these archives to go off on. Some followers speculated that Vidal's new online friends may have had learned about her past, and that's why the account rebranded once again. At one point, a leaked DM conversation surfaces, where Pumpkinite casually admits to being 25 years old. In the same breath, she flirts with someone calling them gorgeous and cute. But it was around this time that they changed their handle from Pumpkinite to Rose Vidal. These logs were quietly circulated, raising suspicions, but nothing stuck, nothing public, not yet. By June 21, 2017, the account went silent after posting a poll. Should I announce my new Twitter and YouTube channel? The majority said yes, and that's when the name Imilki officially returned. This time it was different. Gone were the early channel jitters and awkward collabs. The new Imilki account gained over 100 subscribers in just 1 month. Why? Because she got into the 100 Baby SMP, a modded Minecraft series created by KTMH96, where the goal is to, well, have 100 Minecraft babies as fast as possible. Yeah, that's the whole premise. Honestly, at that point, just play The Sims. At least there you can light the babies on fire. I love the sounds of Sims babies burning. But back to seriousness. As weird as the concept sounds, it worked. The series had traction, and Imilki was now collaborating with other creators, including Moondustbree and PandaFire11. Her channel was growing, her Twitter was active, her Discord was busy. She was, for all appearances, thriving. As for her Minecraft account handle changes, which could easily be tracked, it seems she had settled on Imilki for now. During this period of rising popularity, Imilki began manipulating people in her social circles to receive free art, a pattern that would become painfully obvious with time. Now, before you think, well, they were friends, maybe they just like making art for each other. No, this wasn't mutual. This was calculated. If you look closely, there's a consistent pattern into who Imilki chose to befriend back then. Artists, video editors, and small creators with growing platforms. People with skills she could exploit, not regular fans, not supportive community members, only people who could make things for her. The reason? Simple. Free labor. Milky often complained about being broke, a recurring theme. She'd talk about her struggles, her mental health, her situation, and then wrap it up with, hey, could you draw something for me? Suddenly, it wasn't a friendship anymore. It was a transaction, except she wasn't paying. And here's what makes it worse. There were dozens of genuine fans around her who offered her support, emotional encouragement, and who genuinely cared about her well-being, but they weren't artists. They didn't have a platform. So to Imilki, they were invisible. And maybe that's for the best. But this wasn't just friendship, it was resource farming. Eventually, as the backlash started catching up to her again, Imilki began wiping her tracks. She deleted her Discord account several times to erase connections and DMs that might come back to haunt her. In leaked server logs and screenshots, she appears under names like deleted user 1 and deleted user 2 showcased here. At the same time, she was active on Twitter on her main account, rejoicing in her newfound popularity. But like before, it didn't last. Behind the scenes, Imilki had started slipping back into old habits. Messages started surfacing, DMs to younger followers, mostly minors, where she asked suggestive questions. One example was, "What would you do if I asked to see you?" The minor responds, "I don't know, lol. I'm already meeting one of my internet friends in June 2018. "No fair, I want to see you," Imilki responds. No, I mean, I just want to see a pic, lol. If you don't mind, of course." The minor responds, "Oh, I barely have pics of me." "You, just you. I have none, lol. I only have that pic. Take one then." "I hate selfies. The moment I take one, I'm like, so take it, send it, then delete it. It's simple." Ew. Here they were pressuring this kid that's clearly uncomfortable to send them selfies. Same pattern, same grooming behavior, and now wrapped in the soft aesthetic of a Minecraft SMP channel. Creators who worked with her started having concerns. Eventually, one of them posted a warning tweet that laid out the behavior she had personally witnessed. Unfortunately, this tweet has now been deleted. But this made Imilki's friend question her behavior, which was then met by her blocking them. Another creator by the name of Whimsy Kitsune, who later on would be in the same SMP as Imilki, will reveal that part of Imilki's tactic was to never disclose her real age. She only ever said she was 18 plus, but refused to specify any further. And considering this was someone still on probation for child crimes, that detail mattered. On top of that, there was still rumors that Imilki was being weird with other minors in the community, often DMing them to share selfies of themselves, something that Imilki had also done in the past. This led to a chain reaction of private conversations and quiet exits. Some collaborators unfollowed, some confronted her in DMs, but once the tweets became public, it forced Imilki's hand as the internet exploded with the controversy, and Milky became a wide subject of debate and criticism. So she deactivated her Twitter, privated her YouTube, and disappeared. And for a second, The community briefed out. She was gone. One less danger in the scene. Another predator exposed and chased off the internet. Except she wasn't, because less than a year later, she came back. Same person, different name, and this time with a new persona and a whole new identity. Tired Ellie. Disappearing online used to mean something. Change your username, delete a few accounts, and you're a ghost. But that strategy doesn't really work when you've got a track record, especially one that involves minors, and especially one that's badly covered. And yet, Imilki kept trying. Sometime in late 2017 or early 2018, she returned under a new alias. Tired Ellie, a soft-spoken pastel teen persona who now presented herself as a mute VTuber. This version of her leaned heavily into vulnerability. She used depression and anxiety as a shield, posing openly about mental health, loneliness, and trauma. Her new branding wasn't just cute, it was disarming, and she was definitely trying to fit in that kind of community, kind of preying on vulnerable people. And of course, she wasn't mute, so she was faking her disability. She streamed in VR chat, played games silently, and interacted with others as a kind, introverted, quote-unquote harmless creator. It was a perfect mask, because in virtual reality, you don't need to talk, you just need to perform. But behind the scenes, the patterns hadn't changed. She was still messaging young people in private, still using vague language to blur lines, still leveraging guilt, trust, and isolation to get closer. Several people reported that she'd ask them for photos or flirt covertly in DMs, often without revealing her real age. Again. Then in late 2018, another creator, someone who had been close to her, came forward. It was Rux in a Tux, now better known as Lumi Starbun. Rux released a video exposing Tired Ellie's true identity, connecting the dots between the former predator, Jose Rodriguez, and the Minecraft persona, Imilki, and now this mute VTuber named Ellie. And Rux had a lot of dirt on Imilki because they'd known each other on and off for a very long time. But more on that later. The video is now deleted, but screenshots remain. It starts with a user asking Rux for advice as they wanted to get closer to Tired Ellie, but found she started acting really weird towards them. Hey, I'm not really a friend of yours, but I've been trying to become friends with Tired Ellie, and she's been asking me to show my face twice, and acting really weird. And I was just wondering if that was normal for her to act like this. Then Rux started showcasing DMs between someone who is allegedly a minor and Imilki. Hi, hello, sorry my internet died. It's fine. Oh, by the way, you should take a new selfie. No, I'm not in a mood. Oh, no. But I want to see you in a call. I'm sorry, maybe another time because I'll have my computer again, kinda soon. Okay, so I guess we can call with just voice then. Can you still take selfies though, please? And in another exchange, another minor would come forward claiming Imilki had asked them for nudes. And A just asked for pictures of my face a ton and for nudes. Other than that, nothing else really. She asked me to undress in a call once too, which I also said no to. FBI, open up! Then came the Twitter DM exchange screenshots. Oh, you're cute. Haha, don't lie. I don't. You should try again, but with your beautiful face in it. Random question, have you ever done a face reveal? On my personal social media, yes, but one here I've showed my face once, but that was like 1 or 2 years ago and I've deleted that tweet. Why? Well, I just kinda curious as to what you look like, that's all. Gross. Finally, to seal the deal, a leaked Discord screenshot of Tired Ellie admitting to requesting selfies from these individuals. Congratulations, I can see that. So what? It's a face. It's not gonna kill anyone. And I stopped already. So either drop it or leave me alone. All the while, may I remind you that Imilki /Tired Ellie /Pumpkinite admitted to being 25 years old in these Twitter DMs during the same year. But Rux wasn't the only one exposing Milky. Smarty's Cringe posted a warning thread around the same time, adding even more context to the behavior. It was a mess. Hey everyone, recently I've been trying to avoid getting involved with drama and bringing it out on a public platform, but I felt that I should say a few things since it involves something that I spoke about a few months ago. Back in late November, early December, I posted a warning about someone who went by the name of Imilki. She has hurt a great deal of the community, and it came to the point where we even had to get the authorities involved and call the police. After I posted my original warning involving her, she got a great deal of backlash, which is reasonable considering how many people she's affected and what she's done. It drove her out of the community and she backed away for a while, but she recently returned under the name Tired Ellie. For those of you who weren't around or are not aware of what has happened / what is still happening, here is some important information that you need to know. Imilki / Ellie has asked countless of individuals for inappropriate pictures and has asked them to do inappropriate things, including sending nudes, flashing her, e-sex in general, and much more. Her age cannot be 100% confirmed. She has given out several ages, ranging from 15 to 25. It makes her seem as if she's a child predator, especially considering that she targets the approximate age range of 10 to 14 when asking people to do these disgusting things. She has forced people into the position where she'll threaten to take her own life if someone doesn't agree to date her. Imilki / Ellie has done a lot more, but these are the key points that should be listed. You also need to understand that whenever this is brought up, she will normally deny her actions and behavior, run away from her problems, or say that we are making this up and have no real evidence or proof to support our claims. In fact, we have quite a lot of evidence. When I posted my original warning about Imilki / Ellie, her victims either replied to my post or personally messaged me explaining their encounters with her. They shared their stories and provided screenshots, other proof, etc. We shared this with the police. We have the proof sorted out. We have all of the connections between her different accounts, so her denying everything with the simple statement, "That wasn't me," is not going to work. After seeing how many people she's hurt, it really has upset me. I understand that everyone makes mistakes, but something this extreme is plain out unjustifiable. Toxic, dangerous people like this don't change in a matter of day, a week, a month, or even in a few months. They're everywhere on the online world. People need to realize that their actions have consequences and they need to be able to deal with them. You can't run away from your problems or deny things like this, especially when the wave of destruction can be seen and felt by the hearts of dozens around us. Do not support people like this. These kind of people will put on a mask, play out their own role, and do whatever it takes in order to gain the support, following, and love that they need. By gaining this, it gives them the opportunity to continue their toxic, dangerous behavior. I recommend that you watch one of my old friends' video regarding her in this situation as well. I'll put the link down below. Imilki / Ellie has been thrown evidence and proof in her direction, but she's been denying everything and lying to cover up her tracks. She is trying everything in her power to make sure that people don't believe us when we tell you the truth. She's doing as much as she can in order to maintain that support and following from others so she can continue her actions and get away with it. I'm posting this simply because another warning should be made. I wouldn't make this public or lie just for the hell of it. I care about everyone and I've witnessed so many people who mean the world to me feel defeated and they're emotionally traumatized because of her. I don't want to see it happen again. These are the moments where the community should come together for the good of us all. Please stay safe and I love all of you. Thank you for your time. That was the second time the internet tried to cancel Imilki. After the backlash, Imilki spiraled and she took to Twitter, venting publicly and defending herself. Some people warned her that speaking out would only draw more attention to her past, not silence it. But for some reason, even a handful of users actually sympathized with her. Even more bizarre, one of the victims replied to one of those defenders, likely to set the record straight. It's a strange hill to die on, defending a known predator. But internet moral compasses have always been a bit bent, I guess. And the next day, Smarty makes another post. It seems that Imilki / Tired Ellie has deactivated their account. There is a strong chance of them being arrested again. Hopefully they won't be a problem anymore. I feel for the people who have been hurt, and I'm so thankful that it won't be happening to anyone else. I love all of you guys and thank you so much for everything. So once again, she had vanished, deleted her accounts, disappeared from Twitter. Her VR chat profile also went quiet, and the community exhaled. Maybe this time she was really gone. But she wasn't, because less than a year later, she came back again. I'm gonna be saying that often in this video. You'd think that after getting exposed twice, once as a predator, another time as a liar and a predator, most people would disappear for good. But Imilki wasn't most people. She always had a backup plan, and in 2019 she reappeared again, this time as a mute VTuber named Kuri Noko. Her new identity was built around a silent, soft AI girl streaming in VR chat. Another complete rebrand. She also wasn't speaking, wasn't interacting much, she barely used her voice at all, and for a while this persona slipped under the radar. But now, she wasn't just lying about her past, she was also lying about her being disabled and fishing for sympathy with it. However, the same people that used to be in her Minecraft SMP back then found her new account and exposed her once again, either because they knew of her arrest or simply because they knew victims that were abused by her. Please avoid this person. They are Imilki/Tired Ellie, real name Joselle Rodriguez, who was convinced, I think they meant convicted, of child in 2016 and has been blackmailing teens into being in a relationship with him. It's wild how Imilki's list of offenses is so long that when people try to bring awareness to her, they're not even leading with her arrest or possession of CP. No, in this case, for example, she was being exposed because she had allegedly abused so many of this person's friends. They were shocked to find out Imilki was a convicted predator. That's how deep it goes. Insane. After all of this, Imilki made another attempt to salvage her reputation, this time behind closed doors. She reached out in private DMs trying to convince people she had changed, but those year-old messages leaked, and in them, she was caught talking about returning to the Imilki persona again. So clearly the rebranding wasn't about growth, it was just about resetting the clock. Eventually, it seemed like she got the hint. She went quiet, deleted accounts, and disappeared. But internet sleuths weren't buying it, and they kept tabs on every alias she had ever created. And by that point, she had already been found to have operated under 4 different alias, at least. And those are just the ones the internet knows about. There's probably many, many more. With her cover blown yet again, people started asking the obvious. Is she finally gone? And for a while she was. But, plot twist, by the end of 2019 and beginning of 2020, Imilki was back. Not in hiding, not under some weird new alias. No, she was back under her original name, Imilki, which is bold, to say the least. She wasn't sneaking around anymore, she was out there in plain sight, uploading VR chat videos to her YouTube channel, racking up views, building an audience, and hoping no one remembered. By that point, her channel had around 5,000 subscribers. Also, may I add, why does this stuff always happen in VR chat? Of course it was VR chat. And this is where a second character enters the picture. A name some of you OGs of the community might remember, Lumi Starbun, also known as Rux in a Tux. Now, originally, as you can remember, Rux was one of the people who exposed Imilki in the first place. But the story doesn't stop here, because Rux, or Lumi, went on to become just as much of a walking disaster. We're talking doxing, transphobic rants, fake suicide attempts, blackmail, CP allegations, and drawing fan arts of minors. You name it, it's probably in there. And originally this video was supposed to cover both of them, but Lumi's rabbit hole is so deep and chaotic, we're saving it for a full deep dive later. So for now, we're only going to focus on the parts of her story that connects directly to Imilki. So now, about 2 years after previously outing Imilki, Rux and her suddenly decide to make up privately. They reconnect and even collabed. In late 2019, Rux posted a fan art of Imilki tagging her and praising her publicly. I may have messed up in my life yesterday, but I'm glad to have my best friend back. Thank you for the support. Imilki, I can't thank you enough for everything you have done for me, and I'm sorry for hurting you. I swear I will do better. Since Lumi Starbun had painted such a huge target on her back, this caught the attention of old followers. But also, most importantly, the commentary YouTube community who had been reporting on her and who instantly recognized the names and the connections. Whispers turned into digging, and digging turned into threads, and soon, the same allegations were resurfacing, and the internet debated over this controversy once again. This time though, Imilki didn't run. She responded with an apology video, a long, rambling, heavily flawed attempt to frame herself as misunderstood and misrepresented, and she went about it in all the wrong ways.
Hello everyone, I'm Milky.
In the video, she starts by confirming her age and talk about her crime.
I'm 27, and a lot of you may know about the crime I convicted, and why I'm like kind of a little iffy on the whole thing and why I kind of stayed away from the internet for a little while. And try not to get into too much trouble. So yes, there is an article online about me. If you want to take a look, I'll link you to it or whatever. It doesn't really matter because not everything under is completely accurate. Like, for example, they talk about, if I remember correctly, like over 100 videos or pics of girls doing things. That's not true. Like, as far as I know, I've only had that done with like a few girls, and even then I have a very vague memory of it.
Hold up. So let me get this straight. Your defense is that the number of CSAM files were exaggerated and you only had pics of a few girls, not hundreds? Yeah, I don't think, but Your Honor, I did not have hundreds of child material in my possession. I only had a few child materials. Is really gonna fly.
I have literally no memory of what happened when those things happened.
Seriously? Ain't nobody buying the I don't remember excuse. She then tries to blame the police, saying they never showed her the images, as if that's a normal or even expected part of a procedure.
When the cops came and got me, they were like, oh, we're confiscating your computer, and we found a whole bunch of stuff. They never actually showed me anything. They didn't show me any pictures. They didn't show me any videos. Like, they didn't show me anything. So, whether to believe them or not, I don't know.
The police is not obligated to show you, the suspect, the files. If legal charges are then involved, the evidence will be disclosed through proper legal channels, like your defense attorney. But speaking about attorney, Imilki also mentions them too.
Whether to believe them or not, I don't know. Like, none of my lawyer told me anything. They were like, hey, you know, it's better if you just take the plea, get 10 years probation, boom, you'll be done with it.
Yeah, I think your lawyer didn't have much faith you guys were gonna win this case. She then keeps repeating that she's taking a huge risk here. She's being transparent about her crimes and who she is, and yes, being transparent is good if it was paired with real, meaningful change, not to hide your insidious actions. We know that just 1 year after your arrest, you were still being creepy to kids, Imilki.
And yes, I know me coming back is a huge risk, but I'm taking all of the risks. I'm putting all the cards on the table right here. Because you guys deserve to know how I really feel and what actually happened. Instead of reading some article and be like, oh yeah, that's what happened, and it's what the police wrote, so it has to be true. Just because they wear uniforms and badges doesn't mean they're telling the truth all the time. If that was the case, then a lot more people would be locked up for stupid crap. They could exaggerate anything and get away with it.
Yeah, I'm sure cops could lie sometimes, just like anybody else. But in this case, I don't know. Just a hunch, but I have a feeling they might have been telling the truth. The fact that she's implying here that the arrest could have been a fabrication makes her apology so much less genuine and makes the sincerity of her remorse extremely doubtful.
Like, I could tell you, even from experience, when I was on that Rikers Island, which is in New York, it's where people go for like the prison and such, even the inmates and the cops, both parties, looked at me and said, what did you do? You don't look like you belong here.
Insane cope.
Because it was something that happened. At the time, I had no control over. Some of you may think I'm stupid for saying that, but I'm being 100% honest here. There was something in me at that time that I just couldn't control.
Your Honor, I could not control myself from trying to diddle the kiddos. Somehow, that makes it worse. I'm actually losing my mind here.
I want to come back to YouTube. I want to go back to making Minecraft videos like I used to in the past. If you search my name, Imilki, you actually see a whole bunch of SMP videos I was in because it was so much fun. And I want to go back to that. I miss those days so much. So if you guys can help me with that instead of tearing me down, then, you know, it's really not going to help anything if you try to do that now because I'm over it.
I'm sure it would be super duper convenient for you to have everyone stop criticizing you so you could go back to making videos in SMPs filled with minors. But you can't really do something like this and then say, mistakes happen. Imilki then ends the video with a plea and an apology.
So, just for closing words here, because I'm rambling at this point, I am sorry and I want to move forward. And I hope that you guys can actually join me on this journey instead of pushing me away from it, because it's obviously more meaningful to me if you can actually help me with this.
Yes, because you keep doing it. You've never stopped.
Everyone deserves a chance. Everyone deserves another chance. Some people, they mess up a few times. I'm one of those people, but no one's perfect.
She really is pushing the fact that everyone deserves a second chance and that if she's sorry, people should just help her move forward. But does Imilki truly deserve a second chance? Well, hopefully by the time this video ends, you'll have made up your mind about that. But what the video ignores completely is the fact that she had already been caught before, multiple times after her arrest. She had already lied to everyone before, and she had already continued the same behaviors even post-arrest under multiple aliases. It wasn't a mistake, it was a pattern. After posting her video, she even decided to tweet about it, downplaying it once again. No more hiding, no more lies, I'm done faking who I was. Send all the hate you want, I'll simply ignore it and continue with my life in a positive manner. I want to be happy, as should anyone else. All I want to do is make content and put a smile on faces. That's all I've ever wanted. I don't want people going through depression alone. I want to help if I can. I want to be a friend that people can rely on. I won't lie about myself anymore. There's no longer any point for that. I'm not asking for friends. I'm not asking for people to think I'm a terrible person, but there's people out there way worse than what I've done. What's the point in living life that's full of regrets and hatred? You're not enjoying life anymore. Just because the article of me is online doesn't mean it's 100% accurate. They weren't there when it happened, so they shouldn't be writing stuff like that in the first place, regardless of who they are. Oh my god, be so for real right now. But moving on, while Imilki publicly played the part of someone full of remorse, tweeting vague apologies and wiping old accounts, behind the scenes, she was doing the exact opposite. On February 28, she was caught operating yet another alternate account, and from this alt, she wasn't just lurking, she was actively defending her past actions. Let that sink in. While building sympathy on one profile, she was on another one, minimizing her crimes. In one response, Imilki referred to her previous arrest and child exploitation charges as an invalid matter. That's not just tone deaf, that's plain deranged. Targeting a child is never an invalid matter. There's no gray area here. Children were harmed. And to make it worse, she wasn't arguing with some random internet user. The person she was trying to gaslight was Whimsy Kitsune, a fellow creator who had first-hand experience with her. Whimsy had been in Imilki's most recent SMP. She was part of the same circle. And during that time, minors had already come to Whimsy reporting that Milky was asking them to send selfies, a tactic we now recognize as part of her long-running grooming pattern. So not only was Imilki refusing accountability, she was trying to rewrite her own history to the very people who witnessed it in real time. You can't make this shit up. Imilki then also dismissed the leak screenshots, claiming they were fake since the responder's name weren't visible. But netizens quickly pointed out, obviously the names were censored for privacy. No minor would publicly attach their name to something that traumatic, especially on a platform like Twitter. It's good to note that some of these evidence were gathered by one of Imilki's victim actually, who claims Imilki had requested pictures from them back in 2017, and even going as far as requesting for them to rub their chest for her. Gross. Anyway, they've created this blog while they were a high school freshman to spread awareness on Imilki's action and her various accounts. But the internal question is, did Imilki really want to change? In early 2020, it was reported that she once again wanted to join an SMP and also went another name called Lunar Lapis. In the following screenshot, we can see a user called Lunar Lapis discussing how, even though she had been approved on her Imilki channel, she wanted to apply to the SMP with a fresh start on a brand new channel. So she sends the SMP moderator, who is Whimsy, a screenshot proving that both her accounts belong to her. So here we had concrete evidence that Imilki was in fact Lunar Lapis. Why are you restarting though, lol? You can't really grow or be consistent if you swap, lol. Yeah, I know, but I got so much hatred on my original one that this time I want no links to that other name. Oh, okay. That's why I'm DMing you about this. I don't want anyone knowing who I was. Okay. So do I still have to reapply? No. Well, if that's not a red flag. And then, as if things weren't bad enough, more screenshots resurfaced in 2020. Yep. Even more receipts of Imilki's creepy behavior. One of them appears to be a conversation between someone from her old SMP, casually mentioning that Imilki had tried to date another minor. Just a normal day in the life of a rebranded predator, apparently. This triggered another wave of reporting by commentary and T channels.
Milky is a 27-year-old trans female predator who is in the Minecraft and Minecraft SMP community. Keep in mind, a 27-year-old should not be talking to children in general, especially if they're a pedophile. This is a red flag. If someone asks for photos of you, whether or not they do it repeatedly, and they get upset or try to make you feel bad because you said no, or that it makes you uncomfortable showing people your face, then they definitely want something from you. A person must be at least 16 years old and have at least 5 years older than the prepubescent child for the attraction to be diagnosed as pedophilia. Most of these victims of Milky range from the ages of 10 to 14 years old, and this goes all the way back to 2016. In 2016, Milky was 23 years old, almost 10 years older than the victims. Milky is an adult while the victims are minors. It's important to note that whenever someone rejects Milky in any sort of way, they try to manipulate or control the situation with making the minor or the person feel bad if they didn't show photos of their face or Milky just didn't get what she wanted. Now, Milky is a person who has done this before and is on a 10-year probation that ends on 2026. They have practiced doing these sorts of things and they know what they are doing. They play victim, and despite an apology made this year, they admitted that they are a pedophile and that even their own lawyer told Milky to take the plea and get the 10 years of probation. I want to stress that, despite this happening in 2016, Milky is still to this day interacting with minors. She is still talking to minors.
There's a predator in the Minecraft community, and they go by the name of Imilki. They were recently gone for a while and claimed that they were under probation, and recently had come back on Twitter as of recently. Now, don't get me wrong, playing games as an adult with an underage person, there's nothing wrong. But as soon as it gets sexual, that's when you should leave, and that's when you should stop right there, right then, cut off everything, and just let it fall to the ground. It's not okay, and that's nasty.
And her response this time? She went full balls to the walls, unhinged, tweeting nonstop, blocking anyone who pushed back, and doubling down like she was the victim in all of this. She's starting firing off a slew of tweets, one after the other. No more running, I'm sick of it, I have support now, so I want to make things right. For real this time. I will prove that I've changed for the better and put an end to these baseless rumors. I know better than to keep hatred in my heart. You want to block me? Go ahead. I'm done giving up. I'd really appreciate if people didn't spread false rumors about me. I haven't spoken to anyone underage directly in months, so please don't accuse me, especially when there's no evidence to back up these alleged claims. I'm not trying to make a return to make friends with kids, take that as you will. As I've stated in the past, I want to make content to help others forget about depression and daily drama. I'm actually trying to do better instead of dwelling on the past like most of you are. Okay, I get it, Rux hasn't been on their best behavior, but we both have history, literally years of knowing each other, and they came to me for help. If you're telling me to turn my back on someone that came to me for help, then I'm not the one in the wrong here. That article of me is a few years old now. I'm not that person anymore. Instead of shooting me down and blaming me, why not look forward and tell me what I can do to show that I've vastly improved? That'd help a lot more than hating me. Well, how about stop messaging kids? That could be a good start. Let me make this clear. Arguing and bringing up history isn't gonna solve anything. I'm aware of what happened. I don't need constant reminders. It's precisely because of that history that I want to show that I'm no longer that person. I'm not trying to argue or pick fights. And then a month later, amazed that I came back to people still following me, not sure why, but thanks guys. I've come to the realization that people will never accept me no matter how hard I try, so fine, I'll just start over where nobody can find me. This is not me giving in to haters, this is me being smart about the situation and realizing that some people are straight up toxic. I like that she's talking here as if she wasn't already doing that. This name will forever be tainted. There's no getting around that, and as much as I love my OC Milky, she's gonna have to go to sleep while her sister awakens. Thanks to people who actually tried to help me feel better, but this is definitely the best course of actions. I will not be replying to tweets or DMs, so don't bother trying to reach out to me. Take care, everyone. So the cracks were showing. More and more people were catching on. Imilki seems to finally coming to terms with her situation. And as for her friend, Lumi, aka Rux, at first she initially doubled down on their support of Imilki. But once the internet heat cranked up, they started to get cold feet. That said, with Imilki suddenly going quiet again, Rux didn't feel the need to say much more. For now. In late 2020, Imilki reappeared, firing off a flurry of tweets that no one had asked for, like nothing ever happened. Why am I tweeting this? What is there to gain when both my life and this name have been tainted beyond repair? Because I have a message, and of course I know I'll receive hate, it never fails, no matter how sincere I am, but it's a message I want people to know regardless of that. I'm a human being, so are all of you, and humans, they make mistakes. We all make mistakes, and sometimes it takes making some in order to mature and evolve from them, to move on and become a better human being, a better version of your past self, if you will. Recover cannot happen overnight. In fact, it's nearly impossible to recover from certain traumas. Where am I going with this? I just want to be treated normally. I've already suffered, and I'm continuing to suffer each and every single day I'm alive because of my history. May I recover someday, or maybe I'll just reach a point beyond my limits, but you cannot live your life in fear of yourself or your past. You must put that behind you and learn to move on with your life, to move forward. I just want a chance to make people happy again. Every single day I think about what I've done, and there's no atonement for my sins, but that doesn't mean I can't do good in this world. I know I can help people if given the opportunity. I can feel it without a doubt. I used to do it all the time, before any of my past. So my message to anyone that takes the time to read this is to please give someone you care about a chance if they messed up and are sincere and genuine with their apology and want to start over. Just because some of us made mistakes doesn't mean we're beyond repair forever. I thank anyone that takes the time to read my tweets, my messages that I'd like for everyone to know. Please allow me to make people happy again. I've definitely grown and matured since the past, and I've learned that forgiveness comes in time as I forgive all of you. And to those that I've heard saying sorry isn't enough, I'm well aware of that. If there's any other way I can atone for what I've done in the past, please give me ideas, suggestions, and I'll definitely do what I can do to bandage that wound that was made. I want to start live streaming some gameplay because a V streamer then upload my VODs on YouTube. I just hope that I can without the past catching up to me, because I'm trying to leave something positive in this world, not more negativity, and we've had enough of that this year. 2020 has been a very cruel year. We've lost so many innocent lives. That's exactly why we need more positivity in this world. We need to preserve and protect what life we have left. Find something positive to do to brighten someone's day. It's definitely worth it. Still debating on if I want to make an actual return or not. I may try V-streaming on Twitch to see how that works out, but I gotta get me a model made first. Don't know, we shall see what the future holds. Probably save YouTube for streams, VODs, or something. So of course, at the prospect of her returning to live streaming and VTubing once again, Imilki received the usual pushback. This made Imilki go quiet on this account once again. But Imilki had one more alias left, and her next rebrand was a VR chat mute AI character named Voidine. Again, not speaking, just emotes, text, and vibes, I guess. Because when you're on probation for exploiting a child, what better move than to re-enter a kid-heavy platform using a non-verbal anime girl avatar, am I right? Voidine slowly started building a presence in the VR chat space. Nothing explosive, but steady. Enough to form new connections and enough to start fresh. But this time, someone was watching. At this point, Rux in a Tux, also known as Lumi Starbun, decided they'd had enough. The friendship with Imilki suddenly was no longer worth the backlash. It was only dragging them down after all. So they flipped. They threw Imilki under the bus and dropped a nuclear-level bombshell that effectively ended Imilki's little comeback run on that account. They tweeted, "Just a heads up, this is Imilki, a known pedo who has been arrested for having 100+ images of CP. Don't contact them, just report." Yes, I was friends with them, but looks like they're still continuing, so I ended it, and they got mad when I found them again, at Voidine AI. This is their Discord, please don't add, just be careful around this user, and here's proof that it's Imilki. So that was the end of the Voidine account. But in mid-2021, a new account popped up in the art community at Dokeshi Neko, a soft-spoken, sickly persona who claimed to be suffering from cancer and who even managed to crowdfund money for their treatment, receiving over $1,000 in donations. But in September 2021, tweets from the accounts implied that this creator had passed away. But the art style of Dokeshi, the phrasing, and the patterns, they all felt familiar. I think you guys can see where this is going. In late September 2021, people started connecting the dots between an account called Dokeshi Neko and none other than Plot twist, Rux in a tux. I bet you guys were thinking I was gonna say Imilki, but trust me, Rux is as much of a basket case. Mostly because the art style was nearly identical. And if you've been around this community long enough, you'd know Rux had a long, messy history of faking her own death multiple times. Honestly, Blue might have some catching up to do. But here's when it loops back all the way to Imilki. Rux claimed that the Dokeshi Neko account actually belonged to Imilki. She tried to pin it all on her. The fake death, the manipulation, the grift, everything. Except that was a lie. Netizens quickly unraveled it. The timelines didn't match at all, and the behavior didn't match as well. It was just Rux trying to throw Imilki under the bus for something she herself was doing. Not that Imilki was innocent, obviously, but this one wasn't on her. Eventually, Rux, aka Lumi, was forced to admit to everything. I faked cancer more than once on another account as well as Dokeshi Neko. I'm in thousands of dollars in debt right now. I only tried to attempt suicide once to be twice. Rux and Imilki had a final confrontation via Discord messages, and then Imilki ends up blocking Rux definitely. I just want to mention how you have to be so down horrendous if you're the one getting blocked by a convicted PDF file first. In March 2022, Rux released a twitlonger, and that twitlonger is a mess as well. She goes on to accuse Imilki of grooming her, saying Imilki had saved her nudes from when she was 13 years old. She starts by saying that the truth is I've been abused, harassed, and been treated like a toy for the past 6 years by someone called Hosel, aka Imilki, that many know him as. I've been threatened, held emotionally captive in my own mind, and I realize that sounds crazy, but I finally called the police, and now I'm in safe hands. She goes on by detailing her alleged timeline. Back in 2017, at the time they were just 13, a young, vulnerable teen with a small Twitter following, they tweeted about wanting to play Minecraft, and Hosel responded. He introduced himself as a 16 years old and a closeted trans girl. The two quickly became friends and played together constantly that week. But what seemed like a normal online friendship took a darker turn. Hosel began to build an emotional connection with them, especially at a time when they were going through personal loss and confusion as they had just lost their girlfriend. He offered comfort, support, and eventually crossed serious boundaries. Hosel and I got really close one time where I sent him naked pictures of myself for his own entertainment and satisfaction on Snapchat. He screenshotted it. I found it funny. Me, a child, an autistic child who didn't see the severity of the situation at the time, just laughed. I was 13 at the time, and he claimed to be 16. To be fair, he helped me a lot through the grief, heartbreak, and ache I felt that time. He was there for me when I felt like no one else was. I guess. I don't know, I was really lonely. As time went on, she details how the control only deepened. Hosel maintained power over them in subtle, emotionally coercive ways. Even during moments of crisis with others in their life, Hosel pressured them to stay loyal, even when they didn't want to. Later this year, they write, I got to know someone we will call A. A and I started dating the first day we met. We were 14 and 15, so we did stupid things. She taught me how to cut, how to self-harm, and I remember showing her my razor I used for it to harm myself. She called it too weak and advised me to get another one that would cut better. She was my girlfriend at that point, so I listened. I introduced them to each other many times and they became friends. We would talk almost every day and everything was fine and good, but one day A got super upset because I wouldn't include her in something when it was a surprise for her. She went to go self-harm and told me she was gonna kill herself. When I told her not to, she yelled at me and left the call with me and Hosel. This was the first time I saw this side of Hosel, but he told me to stay put, don't do anything, and I got really concerned, of course, but I listened. Why didn't I do anything? Shouldn't I have left to be with my then girlfriend? Well, you see, I didn't have a choice. At the time, I was so harshly manipulated by him. I didn't dare to say no in fear of him leaking my nudes and stuff. He had my nudes, he had everything on me that I was scared to tell anyone. So according to them, what kept them quiet was fear. Hosel had leverage, personal private things he wasn't supposed to have. Fast forward to 2019, Hosel had rebranded once again under a new name, and no one knew who he was. Lumi had stayed connected through this new persona. They created a massive amount of art for him and remained entangled emotionally. By this point, the relationship felt less like a friendship and more like they were being used. Well, according to Lumi. They described that period as blurry, a haze of emotional burnout and escapism, doing whatever they could to numb themselves from everything that had happened. But this twitlonger came with problems. Rux wasn't 13 in 2027 when Lumi claimed it happened. She was 16. On top of that, the timelines didn't fully line up with the evidence and the dates that we know. And Rux herself had already admitted to lying about other key facts before. And while some parts of the twitlonger seemed credible, like the bit where she explains how she found out about Imilki's arrest, Lumi was allegedly on a call with two friends, Tatum and her boyfriend, when they asked her to check a PayPal commission payment from Imilki. The name on it, Jose Rodriguez. And a quick Google search pulled up the article, Brooklyn man arrested after enticing local underage girl online. She thought he was 16. The article said 23. That meant he was actually 25. Shocked, Lumi immediately cut ties and released a video exposing him, but after the video, silence. Everything went eerily quiet until Jose messaged her begging for forgiveness. He claimed the charges were false, said he lost his parents in a car crash, and claimed he was struggling with addiction. And in one of her lowest moments, Lumi believed him. Looking back, she says it makes her sick. But overall, netizens didn't completely believe Lumi's account. It was hard to separate truth from fiction when Lumi Starbun had proven time and time again that they are basically a compulsive liar. They also accused Imilki of being the reason they detransitioned. In 2020, Lumi's video exposing another online predator exploded, gaining 600,000 views and over 18,000 new subscribers. But behind the scenes, things weren't so glamorous. Lumi says that during this time, Jose still had a grip on her privately. She describes being manipulated, degraded, and mentally worn down by him for years. And the damage was deep. She even says Jose was the reason she detransitioned. Her words, he made her feel like she wasn't good enough to be herself. As Lumi's channel grew, she felt like she was unraveling, a puppet on strings with Jose pulling them. At one point, he even convinced her to make a video attacking one of her friends, and she did it. Just like that, he reappeared as Imilki back online again. Lumi says she was left isolated, copied his behavior, and lost her sense of identity completely. The grooming, according to her, went on for 6 years. And in 2022, she says she finally broke the cycle, called the police, and helped guide them towards Jose. She ends her post by owning up to her own damage, doxing, manipulation, identity confusion. She says she was groomed to become someone she wasn't, and now she just wants it all to stop. It's really unclear whether she really went to the police or if this is just another one of her lies to make herself look better, but still it marked the last major public record of Imilki. And by that point, her YouTube channel was gone, her VR chat presence was wiped, her Twitter aliases were all deleted, and her Twitter account, Voidine, sat inactive, last known activity showing her in a critical financial and food situation. And yet, there are still allegations that she continues to lurk on VR chat, using new names, targeting new people, and relying on the same strategies she's always used: anonymity, softness, and trust. Imilki's probation is scheduled to end in 2026, in just a few months. She was never jailed, she never saw real prison time, and somehow she was given chance after chance to stop. But she didn't. Throughout all of these years, the internet has dug proof time and time again that Imilki was still talking to kids. Certainly, this must violate the terms of her probation. Instead, she just put on another avatar and tried again, every single time. And every single time, more people got hurt. And yet, she is still out there. Stay safe, everyone. If you've enjoyed today's breakdown and want to support the channel, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a future upload. And if you want exclusive videos, anime reactions, and unfiltered commentary I can't post here on YouTube, check out my Patreon linked in the description. Your support helps keep these deep dives going every single week. And if you want to stay updated on the latest VTuber happenings, dig through archive content, or just hang out with the community during anime and Star Wars watch-along, join my Discord at discord.gg/Rima. We've got forum-style chats, exclusive members-only channels, and it's the best place to keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Minecraft player behind the name was exposed as Josel. How do you pronounce that?
We are looking at how to pronounce. You could replace the H. Jose, Portuguese.
A modern Minecraft series created by Keith. Oh my god, I gotta spell this letter. Former Predator, Jose Rodriguez, the Minecraft. Connecting the dots. Yeah, I don't think, but Your Honor, I did not have hundreds of child porn. She had already been caught before. Why can't I speak? That they wanted to join an SMP and also went another. In early 2020, it was reported that she Speak, Rima. In early 2020, it was reported that they want. In early 20 in this world, not more negativity, and we've had enough of that this year. Oh god, there's so many. What the fuck? A known pedo who has been arrested for having 100+ images of child CP. I'm just gonna say CP. A known pedo who has been arrested.